Welcome to theCUBE. My name is Lisa Maroney, Director of Business Development for the town of Chelmsford, and we're here back with another exciting episode with my co-host and special guest, Don Martelli. So I'll just explain a little bit how, why, and where Don is connected with the town of Chelmsford. So Don was brought on through Snyder Associates, which has since transitioned to the Belfort Group. And he had done some great work with the town in creating the Chelmsford Crossroads at Route 129, and excellent logo and website support. And so you can find our website at chelmsfordcrossroads129.com. And the process of creating a logo is pretty interesting. I arrived on board halfway through that, and wow, I thought I was a little bit, as a marketing person, in advocating the community and talking about Chelmsford, representing the businesses with their needs and technical assistance. But in the work that Don does and the level of specifics in terms of marketing and advertising, it's a whole new world out there. And so why don't I just kind of turn it over to Don, and then we can come up with our questions and how we can learn a little bit more about marketing and the roles that we each do for the community.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Lisa. Hello, Jen. Hello, Karen. Nice to meet you all. Appreciate the time today. So Belfort Group is an integrated digital marketing and communications agency located right downtown Boston, but we do a lot of work in the Middlesex 3 area. Burlington, Chelmsford, Bedford, you go on and on and on. And the work is pretty complex. We work with developers and helping get their projects through the approval process, working through town meetings, but at times get hired by municipalities to help them with their marketing. I always say that, the municipalities have the toughest job and the least amount of resources to move their business forward, if you will. And in this case, the town leaders decided to rebrand that particular area of town. And I love these assignments because they're very creative. You're really starting from scratch, but as a former journalist, I still go back to storytelling because it's about telling the story of Chelmsford and driving people to a community so they can bring their businesses there and live there and raise their kids and create this, a place to live, work, and play, if you will, outside of the 128 in downtown Boston area. So we were in there and conducted a number of intake sessions, which are conversations with folks like Lisa and others about what made Chelmsford so special and why this particular area. And I had stacks of sticky notes of all these different names. And one thing that really came back to us was that literally the location is at a crossroads of major thoroughfares, right? Highways and infrastructure, but also the town was at a crossroads. We're at the front end of, reinvigorating our business community and bringing people here and businesses coming in. And there was this really, excitement. And oftentimes that's a little bit of PR and people just sort of giving talking points. But in this case was legitimate in reality. You could see signs of life and things coming in, bringing in folks like Lisa to move this forward. So I wish I could say I came up with this brilliant idea of the crossroads, but it really just sort of inception came to the forefront based on these conversations. And then that spilled over to, typefaces and fonts and colors and the little line in between crossing roads. And there's a lot of things that go into designing logos and branding, and everybody's a designer and everybody's in marketing, right? Because we all have our creative opinions. So trying to wrangle all those opinions in one, throw it all into a blender and resulted in the creative suite that we were able to develop for Lisa and the team at the EDC and Chelmsford. And it was a great assignment. Lisa and I have remained in touch over the months and months since we've been doing that, because for our standpoint, we want to see this stuff activated. And I love to see the activity and the growth within the community, because we played a really small role in that, but the visual representation of Chelmsford through the crossroads has been a great assignment for us, and it's resulted in other work down the line for other municipalities as well. So I can't thank you all enough for the opportunity.
I think when I'm listening to the words you're saying, Don, and I'm just thinking about how a team comes together, just people that connect and collaborate and really have that same interest in reaching those goals and objectives, whether it's in marketing or, municipality, whatever that is. When that team comes together, things just really start to happen. And I think that's a little bit of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I know the logo was created through the Economic Development Committee. And so it's been a great ride, and we're just getting started and advertising. And it makes me think about this other team that I've got going here with Jen and Karen. And we're just so interested to support our community and do outreach to the businesses. We're very, very energized and excited about each of the work that we do together. And then we keep coming back to this Q show to talk about questions in the community. And I think any one of us here, any one of the four of us here, could probably talk nonstop for an hour straight just on our own. So I just want to kind of hand it over maybe to Jen and then over to Karen, because I think we all kind of do marketing in our own way and advocating out to the community in the work that we do. As well as maybe some personal branding in our interest in the work that we have, and Karen being a small business, and again, we could go on and on about this. But let me just pass it over to Jen so she can kind of contribute her comments and maybe any questions that might need to be kind of put out there.
Yeah, Dawn, I've never been so excited about the topic of marketing, but you make it like sound really exciting. And it's kind of funny because when I first came into my position here in Chelmsford as the community services coordinator, one of the things that became very apparent to me very quickly was that I was going to need to market myself because it was a brand new position that was created within the town. Nobody knew what it was, and nobody knew what my role was and what I was supposed to do. And so not only was I tasked with sort of building this new position, but I was tasked with branding it and marketing it out into the community to get my name out there and let people know who I am and what I'm here to do. And I kind of joked in the beginning, to some folks around town hall that, that when I took this job, I didn't know that I should have had a marketing degree. And it was a little bit of a joke, but it kind of was serious too. And so I think, even in instances where we don't typically think that marketing plays a role, it doesn't in subtle ways. But so I do have a question, but my question is actually for Lisa. And I'm just wondering, Lisa, what have you seen? What has the logo, the creation of the Crossroads logo done for your sort of push to get new business into the 129 area? How have you seen that make a difference?
Really interesting question, because do any of us know of another municipality that's in the process of creating branding and identity for a clustered area of business as a business park? So it's really unique. And as you know, my role was newly created as well to the town. So I was kind of in the similar role, but what this logo and branding has done, multi-layered, a reason and a purpose to connect with businesses, build partnerships, build relationships, add value to the purpose of connecting with the municipality. But more so, the bigger picture is to add some credibility of what the Crossroads is all about, and to bring some education of what the 150 businesses in a 600-acre area doing some extraordinary work with many global entities here. And it's really creating a platform of a way to elevate and just build that business attraction. It's kind of step one. And it's really important, as what Dawn said, even just that line of the Crossroads there in the logo. But we're working on branding and identity, and we're trying to utilize our businesses out there as a way to build interest and some credibility to what's happening in this area. So, it's a learning process. It's evolving, it's changing. I've got a lot of interest in response to building a communication platform, a way for the 150 businesses in that area to communicate with the town when we have grant opportunities, when we have new programming, when we've got great information to push out there. So that's why I'm connected again with Dawn to talk about what does that mean? Is it a blog? Is it a newsletter? Is it a push of info? I'm not a marketing major. I'm not a communications major. I know I'm going to need some expertise on that. But as you know, in the work that we do together, it's all about outreach to our community. And whether it's for the community social economic needs or business needs, we really are here to serve the public. And how do we best do that with all these different needs of communication, social media? I feel like I'm doing multiple layers: LinkedIn, email, social media. Am I connecting enough with everybody in the right way? A lot of that is about marketing and the interest for them to spend the time to connect with the municipal team and how we can serve them. That's kind of what kind of comes to mind. But as you know, and I know, we could talk about this for an hour easily, just with the work that we do together in the teamwork of the municipal side. But let's hear from Ken, because she's always got that level of entertainment going on. She lives in town. She has a business here, and she does a lot of important work with Visiting Angels and connecting on a personal level in terms of marketing and branding.
Don, the way you talked about your interviews with the people in the Chelmsford area to come up with your logo, it just made me so proud to have a business in Chelmsford. Everything that people communicated about the community is so true. And I called up your website, chelmsfordcrossroads129.com. And the logo is beautiful. It really communicates what's happening in that area. And it's nice and clean, and just, it's amazing what a little graphic can do to communicate a feeling. I do have a degree in marketing. I've been working in it for 25 years. And what is so interesting about it is that it's just about communicating with people, and it's about listening to what their needs are and putting out there how you can help solve a need. With Visiting Angels, we do senior home care, and I had a potential client call me personally and say, before I use your agency, I've researched you, and I went on your LinkedIn profile, and you look like a fabulous marketer. You have done so much in marketing, but how does that help me care for my senior that needs support aging in place? And I thought it was a great way to look at it. It was a great question that she asked me. And how I responded to that is that marketing is about relationships, and it's about building trust and clearly communicating what you can do for the consumer and how you can fulfill those needs. And so that's what we try to do. I love how Chelmsford is trying to find this brand significance in the community. Lisa has taken this not just with Chelmsford Crossroads. She's also she's branded our community as age friendly, and she's doing all these things to help Chelmsford be accessible to all the demographics in our community. She's doing that by building a park and all kinds of other things. So Dawn, my question to you is, marketing has become so different from when I first started in the area. It's what Lisa said. We're on LinkedIn, we're doing emails, we're doing social media, we've got our websites. Is there something that you think is the most important in this arena, or do you see something in the future that's coming up with marketing and communicating with our community?
Sure, the crystal ball question. All of this is still rooted in one very basic principle. Every individual or company or organization is trying to convince another individual or group to do something. Enroll in this program, live here, bring your business here. Dad, I want another cup of ice cream. Everybody's trying to sell something to somebody at some point. And we call that naming and framing. right? How do you take what you want to do or sell or move within your organization and get your target audience to do those actions, but connect their pain points and the things they're interested in? So it's not just me jamming a sale down your throat, but rather your audience engaging with this process. So as Lisa's out there talking about, hey, we have a bunch of land that allows you to do X. Now she has a place, a brand, a name, and messaging to get beyond the first 15 minutes of the conversation to name and frame that ask. So to go back to your question, it's all of it. When I was renovating my kitchen 2 years ago, I must have crowdsourced different refrigerators for months, Yelp, website reviews, my neighbors. So I'm using a multitude of channels, and I think any one of us, including businesses, are using multiple channels to inform business decisions and to communicate with their audiences. So the one example I use is myself, my 16-year-old daughter, and my mom. My mom will record TV shows and still watch the commercials because she likes the commercials. I'm a print guy. I'm a former journalist. I love to read the newspaper, but I'm also a technology geek, so I get my information through digital. My daughter will Snapchat me from the next room. We all get our information. It could be the same information, but different channels, different sources at different times. So if you are a marketer or in public relations or communications, and you are working with a client or within a company, you need to think about who are the audiences you're trying to reach. And not the four of us here on this call are not exactly the same people. We haven't grown up in different areas, but we might resonate with the same kind of message, but we're getting our information differently. So as a marketer, you have to think about your audiences, the segmentation within those audiences, and where do they get their stuff? It could be billboards, it could be email, it could be social. My argument is that it's all of it constantly. And you have to become your own news media. You have to be your own Globe. You have to tell that story, which is why Lisa is sort of the editor-in-chief of the Crossroads, telling that story, connecting businesses. And Jen, you're sort of the activation around telling those stories and activating those channels. It's about consistency in messaging, consistency in that story, and more importantly, connecting that story to those that you want to be involved in your buying your product, coming to your community, bringing their businesses there, and doing that regularly. And more importantly, since we're using a lot of digital channels, there's data. There's information you can use to figure out what is working and what's not working, because what's not working, you want to put in the parking lot and then activate the stuff that's working, because your Facebook channel, your website, your LinkedIn profile, and your emails, everything you're sharing will have some breadcrumbs around it. And if you're not looking at data to inform your marketing strategy, you're doing yourself a disservice. So it's all of it. And then some kid in some garage or somewhere is developing some new tool like TikTok that we're all going to gleam onto and use in some way, shape, or form. So I wish I had that crystal ball because I'd be a millionaire, but not yet.
There's so much psychology behind all of this. There's a lot of sociology, psychology. It gets a little bit overwhelming at times. Sometimes I'll just go down to Jen's office and I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. What do you think? It's like what you're saying. You just gather some feedback from different perspectives to try to understand, why is this happening? What are the options? What direction do I go in? And it's all aspects. It's like business. It's just trying to start new programs. How do you do that? It can be very overwhelming at times.
Yeah, I was realizing when Dawn was talking that, the equivalent to marketing in social services is outreach, and I do outreach all the time. I do outreach in the community. I do outreach to, collaborative agencies that I work with. And so it's, I never really considered that, marketing was a part of what I do. But when I look at it that way from the lens of the outreach work that I do, and I'm guessing, for Karen, it's a little bit of the same sort of thing.
Yeah, we've turned into business consultants, right? I mean, I'm sure, Karen, same situation for you. There's a client or a colleague that has a challenge or a problem, as they say, and we turn those into opportunities using marketing communications to solve them.
It's very important to communicate what you do, communicate it well, and be clear on what you can offer and how you can fulfill that person's need. Marketing is about back in the day, I read a book called Subliminal Advertising about the things hidden in the ice cubes in the glass of Coca-Cola to lure you to drink more Coke. And that's how people used to think about advertising, maybe back in the dawn Draper days of Mad Men, right? But really, it's about communicating honestly and building trust with your consumer and delivering on that promise.
Yeah, building trust is a big one, and that happens through good communication in many ways. And no, I did not know you had a longstanding marketing background, Karen. So now it's really all adding up for me. It's really starting to make sense. I can't believe after 15, 18 weeks of these Q shows, I'm just learning this now. So
I was thinking
Okay.
the same thing, Lisa, like maybe we need to have an episode about, fun facts about our hosts or something, because
There
I
you
think
go.
there's a lot of stuff we don't know about each
All
other.
those burning questions people have about us.
Yes, yes.
Why are we here?
Yeah, your point.
Oh
Your
my
point
God.
about trust is important, Karen, because I think there's while we have these channels at our disposal, your audience also has the same channels at their disposal. Look at what consumer product companies go through when an order goes wrong, or if you are over promising about what Chelmsford can deliver to a company of 500 people, and all of a sudden there's really no product to come in. I mean, you have to be careful to your point, that your messaging, your communication, even down to the way you visualize the brand, is authentic as it possibly can, and keeping an eye and thinking about what the folks on the other side of the fence may or may not say about your particular product or service. So you just always, I think about this work as very cyclical, right? And the minute you launch a logo and a website and have stuff out there will be opinions and feedback and interaction that will help fuel the next iteration of this. So Lisa, and Jen and others, as you get into this next phase, as space becomes limited within Chelmsford because you're doing your job. What's next? What's the Crossroads 2.0? What does that mean? Are you expanding the opportunity zones and working with the town administrator around their strategic direction to continue? Because you are a business. There's a bottom line to drive, which goes back into helping the folks that live and breathe there every day, that they're, trash is picked up, right? City services are done in the right way. And it's injected from the work that you're all doing on the economic development side. So my advice is always, don't be settled. Think about what's coming in 6 months from the marketing perspective. Think about the next year. Think about the next 5 and how that feeds the strategic direction of the town.
And I think some of what you're saying, Don, is what has helped a lot of businesses and people be able to adapt to COVID, to be able to have that flexibility and the outlook. I know that the town has a 10-year master plan. We're in the process of upgrading it and updating it. And we always have a big, huge wish list of things to do to create a living document like that. And it's real difficult. Jen's job, she's got to be constantly adaptable hour by hour, maybe if not more sometimes. And that goes in turn with marketing. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a spokesperson for the town, because when I'm talking with businesses, maybe they have the need to understand Jen's work and Jen's program if they want to sponsor a family for the holidays, or if if Karen needs to be involved with some networking options. And we're constantly using our resources and promoting, and it's very intertwined. It's very intertwined between us all. So any other more questions that we need to address before we wrap up this very exciting segment?
Well, I would ask you three. I mean, what's next for Chelmsford at the Crossroads? I mean, you've come a long way. Have this website. What's next for you guys? And where can companies like mine support you all and make introductions and help you move your business forward?
Well, as you know, we've been reconnected more so lately because a lot of the businesses are asking for a platform for communication and receiving information timely and effectively, those types of things. And in terms of the Crossroads, we're building an association within there. But, that's not the only business segment of town. We've got many other very important areas. Center Village is a vital area, Vinyl Square, Drum Hill. These are all other business clusters that need that same support on different levels. So, on goes the wish list.
Sure.
And the reason why we'll all probably stay very connected in the months to come very soon.
That's great.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, well, we all know where to reach each other. Everyone knows, all the viewing audience knows where to find each of us, because Chelmsford Telemedia continues to do an outstanding job with local access TV and segments that end up far and wide beyond Chelmsford. So feel free to join us for a segment. We invite any other businesses to engage with us and also learn about the Belfort Group and the many services they offer. So thank you very much for your time, and can't wait to see you again soon.
Thank you all.